Hey there, welcome to my channel. Today we're diving into the hidden world of microplastics. Can you believe that? These tiny plastic particles are so small you can't see them with the naked eye, yet they're everywhere, in the water we drink, the air we breathe, and even in the food we eat. But don't worry, I've got a fun and easy trick to show you how to spot them. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button, and let's make the invisible visible. You will need a coffee filter, a really bright flashlight, a bowl and some water from your tap or a nearby lake, river, or ocean. First, pour a bowl of water. Now, if you're really adventurous, you could use the water straight from the source, but make sure to protect yourself from any critters that might be lurking in there. Next, place the coffee filter over the mouth of the bowl, making sure it's nice and tight. You don't want any sneaky plastic particles escaping. Now hold the filter in place and shine your super bright flashlight through the coffee filter and the bowl. If you look closely, you might just see some tiny white specks dancing in the light. Voila, those little specks are microplastics. They'll be smaller than a sesame seed and often end up in our water systems due to things like wastewater, runoff from farms, and even the breakdown of larger plastic items in the environment. But here's the thing, these particles are so lightweight they can travel super far on the wind, which means they're not just in our oceans and lakes, they're actually in the air we breathe and the water we drink. Now let's tackle this riddle. If microplastics are smaller than a grain of sand, how many could fit in a teaspoon? A grain of sand is about 55 times bigger than a microplastic. So a single teaspoon, which is about 1/20th of a tablespoon, can hold around 4 or 5 teaspoons of microplastics. That's a lot of plastic. And to think we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg, because right now we do have the technology to identify every type of microplastic out there. The ones we can identify are usually categorized as primary or secondary. Primary microplastics are particles that are manufactured to be small, like those in cosmetics or toothpaste. On the other hand, secondary microplastics are pieces of larger plastic that have been worn down by things like sunlight or waves. And while most of these particles are less than 500 times thinner than a human hair, some are even 10,000 times thinner. That's as thin as a strand of DNA. But just because they're small doesn't mean they're not harmful. Studies have linked microplastics to all sorts of health issues in animals, including cancer, inflammation, and even changes in hormone levels. And while more research is needed to understand the effects on humans, it's clear that these tiny particles are a big deal. One of the biggest culprits is plastic waste in our oceans. As discarded plastic ages, it breaks down into particles smaller than a sesame seed called microplastics. These particles don't decompose, and they can travel long distances, even ending up in the cells and tissues of marine organisms. And when those organisms get eaten, the plastic gets passed on up the food chain, potentially ending up on our plates. It's a sobering thought, but the good news is that we can do something about it. By reducing our reliance on single-use plastics, supporting organizations that are cleaning up our oceans, and demanding better regulations from our leaders, we can all make a difference. So what can we do to reduce our plastic footprint? Well, for starters, we can ditch single-use plastics like plastic bags and straws and opt for reusable alternatives. We can also support businesses that are taking steps to reduce their plastic waste and hold corporations that are polluting our planet accountable. As for cleaning up the mess that's already been made, there are organizations out there doing amazing work. One such organization is dedicated to cleaning up floating plastic waste in the water. Another organization is focused on removing plastic from beaches and coastlines. And a third organization is working to reduce plastic pollution in landfills. Finally, we can demand better regulation from our leaders. We can urge our elected officials to support policies that promote the reduction, reuse, and recycling of plastics. We can also push for more transparency and accountability from companies that are producing and distributing plastic products. The problem of microplastics in our water is a complex one, but it's not insurmountable. By making changes in our own lives, supporting organizations that are making a difference, and holding our leaders accountable, we can create a cleaner, healthier future for ourselves and our planet. And hey, while you're at it, don't forget to hit that like button. If you liked the video, share it with your friends and family, and leave us a comment below with your ideas for future episodes. Together, we can make a real difference. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time for more science, fun, and adventure.